So, upon completing the self analysis on page 68 in our text, I found out that I am pretty, um, I guess, would have a growth centered class. I was reading some of these questions and I had to think back to my class last year, like their willingness to take risk and believe in their own ability to grow, because I feel like a lot of my students at this point in the year are not at that stage. They're basically just trying to get down routines and just basically following directions in the classroom. So I thought back to my class last year, and I every single question I was like, oh yeah, they got to that point. I'm really big on making sure that the kids are constantly self-assessing themselves, to make sure that they're really maximizing their growth. And one way that I do this is I have a data folder, and I try to do a quick turnaround with grading the students' assessments, and I grade it to them, and I pass them out to them. But when I'm passing them out to them, I have like a quick little 1 minute conference with them, like, hey, great job. I really like what I saw on this, X, Y, and Z. Or if they didn't do so well, like, hey, what are some things, like, let's reflect on what are some things that we could do better. Maybe it's paying more attention or asking more questions. So I really have the students reflect on how they can help their learning grow, and how they can be the best students that they can be. Um, I would say also, um, my growth mindset too is based off of when I was a child. My mother was a teacher, and she always pushed me to like constantly reflect on my own learning, or what strategies didn't work for me, or what I could do to be a better test taker. So it was a lot of self reflection and just trial and error in our house. So I feel like I'm like that a lot as a teacher. If I notice that my students are struggling or something's not working for them, I kind of have them sit back and think like, hey, what's this doing? What am I doing? Is this working? How can I fix this? Um, and I really try to get my students, um, by the end of the year, to be able to take risks and not be afraid to get it wrong. One thing in my classroom I constantly stress to my students is, I'm fine with you getting the wrong answer. I'm fine with you getting something wrong as long as you try. I really want the students to make the mistakes that so that they can help themselves grow. Um, let's see. Mm, Oh, one big thing that I find a big struggle a lot for students is their ability to strategically attack problems that they are not sure how to solve. And I feel like this is where I'm at the point with my students right now. Like, how are you going to solve this problem without an adult? I really, really, really stress about problem solving and figuring things out on their own, whether that's academically, socially, or emotionally. Like, what can you do as a person, a student, to really reflect and figure out how you can solve the problem, and even find a solution so that this problem might not happen next time? I am really big on problem solving, and we are working on that tremendously right now. I also try to be really in the growth mindset in the beginning of the year of having the students pick academic goals and personal goals that they want to work on. So, like the first month of school, the students and I broke them up into small groups, and we talked about what's one academic goal and oh sorry, what is two academic goals and one personal goal that you want to have. And I know a lot of teachers say, oh, what is one math goal that you have, or what's one reading goal. But sometimes I found out that a lot of students don't care for math, or they don't care for reading. They really like science, or they really like writing. So I opened that up to them, and their answers were really great. And I put it on an index card, and the students have it in their folder. So I told them in about 3 months that we would check it and see if they met that goal. And if they didn't meet that goal, let's reflect on why they didn't meet that goal and how they could meet it. And then I always have them pick one personal goal. Like, what could you do this year? I would like to be a better friend. And how I'm going to do that is not say mean things to my friends or play nicely with them. And I always have them pick these goals, reflect on them, and it really helps them grow. And um, I'm trying to think about my students last year, and they ended up at such a wonderful point. They were such a good group of kids by the end of the year. They were really self reflectors. They really did a lot of the thinking and the processing on their own. And fingers crossed, I'm hoping that these students get to this point as well. I know it's a lot of prep and laying the foundation for them right now. I'm also really big on student empowerment, and I think that also plays into the fact of helping the students have a good growth mindset. Is like I said before, I don't mind if students get the wrong answer as long as they're trying. So even students that I know we're not going to know the answer, I still call on them because I want them to feel empowered. I want them to know that what they have to say is important. There's students in my classroom that might never talk, and maybe they really thought they got the answer this time, and I don't want to not call on them because they don't know. I also think, like I said previously, that they grow from their mistakes. So calling on them and they didn't get the right answer, and having maybe another student help them out, or giving them the resources to find the answer themselves really helps them grow. And having like a little quick conference with them, like, I was so proud of you that you were so brave to share with the class today. I want to hear more of you. Just really helps them feel empowered, and then wanting to be a part of the classroom, which I think is really important.